Hi, welcome. Hi, everybody. It's Day-Oyabunmi. I hope you are well today. I am back for another recap of the Ifa reading of the year. This one is for the year 2021 through 2022. Before we jump into it, I just want to encourage you to visit my website if you're interested in receiving an Ifa reading. If you want a tarot reading, if you are in search of Ifa-Orisa related books, trainings, all of those things can be found on my website. I also have a page called My Orisha Journey page. The Orisha Journey page has Ifa Orisha resources listed as well. So I list books, Facebook pages you can follow, Instagram pages you can follow, websites, classes, so trusted resources, okay? Also, I just released a new song called You Say. It's a mix of R&B and hip hop. So if you like, if you into old school hip hop vibes and R&B, I'm singing and I'm rapping, check it out. Everything I'm talking about is in the description box below. So, the Ifa reading of the year 2021, 2022. Let me tell y'all how excited I was. I'm like waiting with bated breath. I'm like, when is it gonna come out? How long is this gonna take? Like, I'm waiting for the verses and everything. So when it finally came out, I was really, really excited. And I was even more excited because it came in Ire. And Ire means good fortune. So when your reading comes in Ire, that means that the best aspects of this Odu are possible in your life at this time, right? So if the Odu speaks of wealth and it comes in Ire, that means that there's a good possibility for you to get the wealth or whatever good can come from the Odu. If you complete your Ebo, right? That's very important. So on the Ifa calendar or the Ifa calendar system, June 6th is the first day of their year. And, on the first day of the year, the calendar year for them, they do a reading, an Ifa reading for the world. And the Odu that came out was Oshe Okanran, Asheo. So I know Oshe to be associated with Oshun, Ifa-Orisa Oshun, and Okanran to be associated heavily with Shango. But there are other Orisha that are standing up very strongly this year. So the Odu came with Ire Aiku, which is longevity, and Ebo is recommended. Now, in order for you to gain access to this document I have on the screen, all you have to do is visit my website, daydreamalston.com. Okay? Trying to think where, you can actually find it in the blog. So you go daydreamalston.com, go to the blog, and it'll be the first post. And of course, you can also just check the description box. Okay, so we know that this Odu is coming with Ire of longevity. So if Ebo is completed, that means that we can secure our lives, right? We can make sure or ensure that with this Ebo, which is sacrifice, that we have good health, that we're able to live to see, the next year and things like that. So I also want you guys to understand that this reading is done in Yoruba land, and of course it's going to have a lot of bearing and weight there. It will have bearing around the world, but some of these verses look like they probably are going to be more specific to Yoruba land as opposed to our country, but you never know, right? So I'm going to go through some of the things that stood out to me about Oshe Okanran. Some of the things that stood out from my studies and speaking to Babalaos and my own intuition. Good comes after a troublesome time. So there is good coming, right? This Odu speaks of good coming, but it also speaks of patience, right? So there was a story I read about Orunmila, and Orunmila in this Odu was seeking wealth, and he was complaining because it was taking too long. And, it eventually came, right? He did his reading, he did his Ebo, his sacrifice, and the good came. The wealth came to him, and it was on his right side and on his left side. But it wasn't without a period of trouble, struggle, and him having to be patient. If Orunmila is complaining, then something is really taking a long time, guys, because Orunmila is the epitome of patience. So it had to be tough for him. So good is coming, but we're going to have to be patient because, you know, we might not wake up tomorrow and the good is there. It may be next June, you know, when we see the good. So it takes a lot of patience with this Odu, but good is coming. Another aspect of this that we need to be mindful of, and this goes from year to year, is upholding good character. It's important to be kind and generous this year and give to people when we see that they're in need. That's going to be very, very important. Ajay, the Orisha Ajay, which is the Orisha of wealth, is very important this year. So there's an opportunity for great wealth. And I saw that in my personal tarot reading. It's like some for the year, my personal tarot reading for the year, I saw that. And it's like some portal is opening, some door to wealth or something is opening. And, you know, in order to be prepared to receive it, we should do both, you know, and just check our character and do the work we need to do. Another point that comes out of Oshe Okanran is the importance of staying close to one's Ifa and Orisha, having faith in Ifa and Orisha, and relying more heavily on Ebo than charms and things like that. There's something about really just staying as close to Ifa as possible. So when you're getting your readings, really go through, you know, the information that you receive. Really follow the guidance because that's going to be very important. And lastly, speak the truth. Speak the truth all the time. You know, be clear, be concise, be decisive, right? Be truthful with yourself and with others. That's going to be important as well. Okay. All right. So let's go through some of these verses that stood out to me. The first one talks about this being a year of blessings. Many people traveling abroad are going to be successful in their travels. But of course, remember, these things are meant to come to you if you do Ebo. Okay, so this can be a year of blessings, a year of good travel going well. There will be a lot of rain this year, they're saying. Now, I don't know if that's going to be around the world or Yoruba land, but we shall see. I've already noticed that. It's been raining a lot, actually, for the beginning of summer. This one is a taboo. It says people should refrain from traveling at night for various dangers. For those of us here in the United States, some other places, it may not be easy to follow this. You may be out at night. If that's the case, my Baba recommends if you have to go somewhere at night, you can cast and ask your Orisha that you have at home, you know, if it's okay or not. If it's okay, is there an offering that can be given to support you in traveling safely if you can't avoid it? Okay. When it rains during the day, you're encouraged to go outside and let a little bit of the rain fall on you, because that's actually going to be really good for bringing good to you, right? It's going to bring blessings. So let the rain kind of touch you. Don't let it soak you, but let it touch your body occasionally this year. And then it gives the ebos that people can do to bring that about. So number 2 could actually be specifically for Yoruba land, but I'm sure if someone wants to do it for themselves, you know, their temple or something like that, their Ile, they can do that. Number 3, Ifa says there's about to be war. There are, I think, 2 different verses in the reading that speak of war. Once again, this could be specific to Yoruba land, or it can be all throughout the world, right? Either way, it says here that people should depend on Ebo as opposed to charms. And we should not go out looking for war, right? We shouldn't go out looking for a fight. We just don't need that this year. Again, to win wars against our land, I'm guessing Yoruba land, Ebo is recommended, as well as appeasement of Ogun and Ile, the Mother Earth. So that's something more specific to there. So when you're reading, you're going through the verses and you're reading the verses, look at what stands out to you, what stands out in terms of something that you may be going through, and then that's what you should focus on, right? This is a good one, right? This number 5, excuse the background noise, being careful of strangers. So and it talks about landlords, right? But this is being careful of accommodating, letting someone stay in your home that you don't really know. This is not the time for that. If you are a landlord, right, if you have an extra apartment, or if you rent apartments, you have to do your due diligence to make sure these people are on the up and up, because it can cause you some issues later on, okay? And then it gives an Ebo recommendation for that. So there are some people that are going to be coming with bad intentions, hidden intentions. Before allowing a tenant to move in, you should go to Ifa and ask, is this a good person to allow to live in my home? You'll probably find out yes or no, right? You'll find out whether the person is or not, or you'll be given an Ebo to complete to ensure that things go smoothly. So that's very important for people who have homes. Just don't let any old body come stay with you. And it says, yeah, unknown persons, so people that you don't know. This one was interesting. Number 6 talks about us being our brother's keeper. When there's a problem with someone in our community, it's going to be important that we don't turn our back on them this year, right? Because what happens to them can spread to us. So we have to really pay attention to others at this time, to those close to us. And I read this story a while ago, and I thought it was interesting. It talks of Etu, the antelope, being sick, and all the animals were told to take care and make Ebo for the antelope. But you know how it can be sometimes. We can be very individualistic, or just focus on, ourselves and who's right next to us, and maybe not someone that's in our community, right? So they refused to do the Ebo. They, refused to help, basically. And what happened was, at 2, the antelope was killed. The hunter then took his body, used its hide to make an arrow, which was used now to kill other animals, right? So this is something very important. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what's going on around you. And if you see someone in need, help them, because you could think, oh, that poor person, that sucks for them. And then it impacts you negatively somehow, some way. So scammers, this one is for you. If you are scamming people in the name of Ifa coming for you. He said that if you want to escape the wrath of Olodumare, you better cut it out, okay? Because it's not going to keep happening. All right? Oh, adultery comes up a couple of different times as well. So if you are in a relationship, if you are married, you have to be careful with adultery. Adultery this year can actually lead to violence or death. Like someone could die because of adultery. So you want to be very, very, very careful, people in relationships. Men and women, it has warnings specific to men and women. I'll let you go through and check that out on your own, but you must be very, very careful. So as to guard against disease, so sexually transmitted diseases may be rampant, and disgrace, okay? Ifa is saying, instead of cheating, if that's something that you cannot avoid, if you're having a really hard time with that, it's better to take on an extra spouse. Like, don't just go around cheating. Just bring in an extra spouse. It says that men should be responsible at home, and women should not be petty, right? So men should be responsible financially, etc. And women should not kind of be like, oh, I don't like what he did, so now I'm not gonna do what I normally do for him. I'm not washing his clothes. I'm not cooking and cleaning for him. This is not the year for that. Okay? And if you do, women, if you do that, you're being encouraged to do ebo. Now, this is very important. We've seen stuff about wars and now fire. So Ogun, 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 Baba, Baba Ogun is standing up this year. And we need to be very mindful. Ogun's energy is a very powerful energy for removing blockages, but Ogun is also a great warrior, right? He's also one of the top Orisha for clearing out long-standing issues, right? Very strong blockages. So when we see things about fire and war, know that Ogun is going to be prominent. So it says we should not play with fire. Ebo is needed so that there will not be any kind of inferno. If you have a child that plays with matches and stuff, you have to watch that child very well this year. And you want to be careful. Don't leave electronics on. Be careful of things that get hot, how close you place them to something that can catch fire. Very, very important. Get fire extinguishers, right? And if you have an Ogun icon, I suggest that weekly you go on his Oshe and give cool water and ask Ogun to keep things cool and ask him that everything that possesses his Ashe be kind to you and your household, right? So iron tools, fire, everything that possesses his Ashe, that it be cool, that it be kind to you, that it won't turn into fight, that it won't turn into an inferno and loss and things like that, or accident, okay? This is specific. Number 13 is specific to Yoruba land. For people who are looking for an economic come up, you need some money tired of being broke. Ifa says you can give a goat to bring as your sacrifice to bring about wealth. So this is a perfect example, right, of looking through a reading and seeing what applies and then using that to inform how you move forward. So if you're someone who struggled economically, if you lost your job last year and you're just like, I really need to get my stuff together, right, in the coming months, you can call your Babalawo and say, hey, can you check with Ifa and see if I should give the goat to bring wealth? Ifa might say, no, I want, or this Orisha wants a cock, or, they want a hen. And maybe you don't have to give the goat, but it's like, okay, you see that this is something that can be addressed through Ebo this year. So take that to a priest, Ianifa, a Babalawo, and see if that applies. Now, also, if you're someone who is barren, right, and can't have children, if you're struggling with fertility, you also have an Ebo recommendation here, right? For rats, for fish, for hens, for bats, for coconuts, and money. And I love the number 4. It's all about solid foundations, right? So if you want to build a solid family foundation and you want to add some children, Ifa is given the recommended Ebo. This is another thing. Number 16 is specific to Yoruba land. So if you don't live there, you don't have to really consider that one, unless you want to. And number 17 I thought was particularly interesting because it's another suggestion and recommendation for us to treat everybody, right, as someone who's important. Just like with the verse with the antelope. We are encouraged to look at other people and see that, okay, their issues are issues that we need to take seriously, right? Because they can affect us. They can impact us in some way, that we couldn't even foresee. So the same thing with the number 17. Is saying that we need to see everybody as friends, not enemies. So if you have people that, you guys haven't been on good terms, there's been contention, discord, and fight, now is not the time to see them that way. If they are in need of any help, if you see that they are in need of anything, if they're coming through your place of business, your place of work, through your home, you're to offer them something to drink and to eat, and you're to be extra kind to them. That's important this year, right? The energy that's flowing through the earth this year makes this important. Okay, so you want to make sure you're being generous to these people and helping them. Even if you guys have the worst history, make sure you're not even thinking badly of them. Just put that in the past. It was in the past. This is a new day. Okay, so these are the Orisha that are really important. Ogun, right? Obatala Ifa-Orisa. Ile, Edan. So Ile is the earth. Ifa, of course. Oshun and Aje. The taboos, we need to avoid making fun of people. So I don't know if you come from a family or you are part of a group of friends where y'all just clown each other all the time. This is not the year for that. So I have to be careful because all we do is clown each other. And I'm going to have to not do that. And I can be sarcastic, so I got to check my sarcasm. I'm just going to be quiet the whole year. Both men and women should refrain from adultery. Spiritual leaders should not be stingy. So if you are in a position or a role of power in the spiritual community, you got to be generous. We should refrain from traveling at night, and we should not play with fire, right? Be careful with fire, guys. Also, if you are someone who knows their life Odu, right? If you have Ifa initiation, if you have Orisha initiations, if during those initiations your readings spoke of fight and fire, this is a year that you have to be extra cautious, and I suggest you contact your priest to do Ebo so that there would be no fight, no fire, right, around you, because you naturally walk with it. So you gotta you have to be mindful. And lastly, wives should not leave their responsibility out of anger against their husbands. All right, so like I was saying, don't be petty. Good luck with that. Good luck. Don't be passive aggressive. Talk your issues out calmly, clearly, truthfully, right? But try not to be petty because it's something that will come back to you. All right. I would love to thank the beautiful, beautiful Babas and Iyas who provided verses to the International Council for Ifa Religion for these readings. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I'm always looking forward to it and looking forward to sharing it, guys. Visit my website, daydreamalston.com, for more, right? For more information, to check it out, to check out the reading, to get your Ifa readings, to get your Orisha readings, tarot readings, all of those good things. You want to take a class on Ori? I'll tell you all about how Ori is our most important deity. Nothing tops Ori. Go to my website. Check out the store. All of those good things. Guys, I thank you so much for watching. It's always my pleasure. I am believing that this year is going to be a year of great wealth for us. Not just financial wealth, mental and emotional wealth and well-being, right? Physical wealth, having everything we need, having good health. I believe that this is going to be a year where we see some of our deepest desires come to pass. Those things we've been longing for so long are now going to show up here in the 3D. We'll see it in our physical reality. We'll be able to touch it, taste it, feel it, hear it, see it. All of those good things, everything you've been waiting for is at your fingertips. Just keep doing the work, guys, okay? Take care. I'm sending my love. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Bye.